One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Whistles, reports, and paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Good morning to everybody. Shout out to all you legends, man. Thank each and every single one of you guys for being here and hanging out with us. You guys could be anywhere in the world, but you decided to be here with me this morning, man. Big round of applause to the Breakfast Club, man. Thank you guys for being here. As you guys know in the chat, I got a little hammered last night, just celebrated and had celebrating life, and it's very odd that when I have mornings or I guess nights like that, and then I wake up, I really don't crave coffee. It's not something that I want to have. Now I have my coffee cup empty, nice sitting here, but we're going to have a Coca-Cola type morning. You know what I mean? It sounds good, So anyways, we got a good one. Full remarks. Donald Trump debates the economic club. Well, the thing is it wasn't supposed to be a debate. None of it was. It was supposed to be a general conversation, bringing in economics and bringing in where business can be discussed. And it's very weird how very quickly Bloomberg basically showed their asses. They showed that every single fucking time there's going to be a bias in every bit of it. You know what I mean? And just like ABC has been showing their ass, Bloomberg just did it too. And so rest in peace, the mainstream media, you know what I mean? But we're going to be going over this today, and it's going to be a great ass time. And to answer your question about what I'm going to be drinking tonight, there it is. Tonight calls for more Red Bull vodka. That's right. Right there. You know what I mean? So hopefully you guys are all having a good one, man. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all you legends up in here. Gary, kind sir, Evil Rick, appreciate you guys. Tiffany up in the building. She said she feeling a little better. That's great to hear, by the way. We got Barbie up in here. Much love and respect. Hopefully you're doing well over there in Canada. Huggy, good morning. We got Straight Jacket up in here too. You guys are in for a fucking treat this morning, I promise. It's going to be one of those where it's almost like the original word moded, you tried to get me, but motherfucker, I got you. Yeah. That's what we're going to be reviewing today. So always a fucking good ass time. Rum and Coke. Yeah. Hardware knows the deal too. What up, Shadow? Good to see you, man. Your boy. Appreciate you as well, man. Road Rage. Appreciate you, man. Morning all. I'll be standing on the roof with a metal pole and praying for a lightning storm. If anyone needs me while I contemplate every life choice I have made that has brought me to this day. Absolutely. I'm going to give you a big W on that, dude. Humongous. Red Bull vodka would stop my messed up heart. Damn, bro. Yeah, for me, if I have 2 or 3 50-50s of those, I usually am pretty lit, if I do that. Trump put Bloomberg right in their place, buried them. Yes, we're going to be watching that happen because I watched it happen live. I watched the whole thing live, and I was almost contemplating covering it in the very beginning. But then, I was like, you know what? I'm almost kind of glad I didn't. I'm glad that I kind of just took it all in, watched it, could get a honest opinion about it before, we actually show it to you guys. But good morning, brother Lee Lance and Tiffany. Appreciate you guys for being here. All right, so let's go ahead and move this on over so that we can go and discuss it. This is off of Live Now Fox, from Fox, full remarks. Donald Trump speaks at the Economic Club of Chicago on the economy, crime, and trade. All right, let's go ahead and review said footage, man. Let's do this shit. And be good.
I like that crowd. That's a nice group of people. Thank you very much.
Standing ovation.
Thank you.
President Trump, thank you for doing this.
What up, Hank? Good to see you, man.
You had the reception there. The business people of
Pablo.
Chicago, like everywhere else, they like a lot of the things you want to do in terms of tax cuts and some of the spending proposals. But like many business people, what they're often worried about is the cost.
Mm-hmm.
And the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, which is a bipartisan outfit, put out some predictions the other day. If you add up all the promises you've made, and your plans would add $7.5 trillion to the debt.
Hell yeah.
That's more than twice the total.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Hardwire says, I'll be watching Straight's padded room tonight. Good show you got. That's awesome, man. If you're streaming tonight, brother Straight Jacket, man, make sure that you throw his link in the chat, someone, SNS or Steve or someone. Make sure you guys go over to Straight Jacket and Hardwire's, shows. They have amazing shows. But I guess Straight Jacket is live tonight, man. I look forward to it. I'll be there.
For Vice President Harris, you're on course to push up debt up to 150% of GDP. This is a very business-like audience.
Yeah.
Why should they trust you with that?
Because we're about growth. She's got no growth whatsoever, and we're all about growth. We're going to bring companies back to our country. You look at even today.
That someone over there is allowing people to step wherever the camera is and making the whole fucking camera shake. I hate that.
As I was driving over, I see these empty, old, beautiful, like steel mills and factories that are empty.
And side note, real quick, just so you know, Steve, and everyone here too. So, Archbishop had to basically leave. He had a planned out whole thing for him to be in the Bahamas. Okay. And so he's there now. So what we did was on Sunday evening, we recorded the whole video that we're doing tonight. So it's not going to be live. Okay. But I will be in the chat still. I'm going to be there the entire time hanging out with you guys just like I normally do. But it's not going to be a live show. You know what I mean? Just full transparency. We don't do that ever. It's only because that he didn't want to. We had to miss last week too because he was evacuating from Florida, and we didn't want to do that again because he was already ready for the Bahamas. But anyways, that's what's going on.
Now, some have been converted to senior citizens' homes, but that's not going to do the trick. And we're going to bring the companies back. We're going to lower taxes still further for companies that are going to make their product in the USA. We're going to protect those companies with strong tariffs because I'm a believer in tariffs. I'm not sure that you are. I don't think you are, but I congratulate you on your career. But to me, the most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff. And it's my favorite word. It needs a public relations firm.
It does work.
Just to help it, but to me, it's the most beautiful word in the
tariffs. Do you think that will bring in the revenues?
Oh, hell yeah,
use another bipartisan group?
That's what I'm talking about.
Peterson Institute, they say they only bring in $200 billion. That is that's barely the cost of two of your promises.
Yeah, but that's like for what company are you talking about? Okay, look, I've brought in with tariffs, and I was just getting started.
Wait, Straight is bringing on a CO? Holy shit! I have to fucking watch then. I have to fucking watch. I mean, I was already going to do that, but now I'll be seriously invested.
Then COVID came, and we had
we'll pick them apart.
I tell you what, I did a very good job in COVID. Nobody knew what the hell it was. I call it the China virus because I like being a little more accurate. But when that came, we got hundreds of billions of dollars just from China alone, and I hadn't even started yet. But tariffs are too two things, if you look at it. Number one is for protection of the companies that we have here and the new companies that will move in.
Damn, I want some cup.
Thousands of companies coming into
Sounds
this
good.
country. We're going to grow it like it's never grown before. And we're going to protect them when they come in because we're not going to have somebody undercut them. And I could give you an example of this if you want. Would you like me to? Because it just
Give me a quick example, then I will come back.
I just found out about it. So I've been
What's the
talking about
process?
for the last year about Detroit and how horribly it has been. You know, it's just horrible because we've been talking about Detroit's coming back for 40 years and it's never come back. And it's
What's up,
very
Exodus? Good to
dependent
see
on
you,
the
man.
car industry. Well, they've lost 60% of the business over a long period of time. And what happened is I found out a friend of mine builds auto plants. That's all he does. He builds auto plants. That's what he's good at. He doesn't want to build an apartment. All he wants to build is, and he builds the biggest in the world. And
What's up,
for
Pitbull?
the last year and a half, if anybody's heard me speak, I was talking about Mexico as a tremendous challenge for us right now. Tremendous. China is building massive auto plants in Mexico. And they're going to build them, and they're going to take those cars and sell them into the United States. They're very near the border. And they're going to have all the advantages and none of the disadvantages. And that's going to be the end of Michigan. It's going to be the end of, frankly, South Carolina. Going to be the end of everything. So I've been talking about this. And I said to him about 9 months ago, I said, you know what? I want you to do me a favor.
Thank you guys, by the way, for liking the video. It is the #1 metric of all of YouTube, and it's absolutely free to do so. And also, little side note, something that I didn't do because I didn't do my call to actions. Make sure that you guys like the video, man. Make sure you guys are subscribed down below. And also, if you guys would like any shout outs, we got one that just came through right this second from brother Lee Lance just now, sending a 5 spot over to the Cash App for the dollar dues. You know what I mean? I very much appreciate that. We have these scrolling down below, all super chats and all members, gifted members, all that kind of stuff is obviously going to be shouted out. Friday on the 18th, in 2 days, we're going to do a membership drive where we're going to be doing basically, I don't want any Cash App donations. I don't want really any. I mean, those are, of course, great, you know, but I'm specifically going for members. And then what's going to happen is on Friday when we do this, then the very next day is the members only live stream for you guys in the Breakfast Club, man. So it'll be a very, very fun time. Also, make sure to follow me on my Instagram at BallValveTV. That's where I basically correspond with all of you guys. So direct message me over there. And of course, I put up a lot of good shit, man, over there. I put up a lot of fun behind the scenes stuff of me and family, good food, good, you know, good drinks, all the great shit over there, man. So we're going to allow this to scroll for the remainder of the show. Appreciate you guys.
John, his name is John. I don't want to give his last name because he might not like it. But I said, I want to see an auto plant. I want to go and see one of these. You know, you press a button and everything works, right? I want to see one of the big ones. He said, all right, good. I said, where do we go? I'd like to go to Michigan. I'd like to go to someplace in the United States. He said, no, we can't do that. Why? We're not building anything big in the United States. That's not where we don't build the big ones here. I said, where are you building the biggest ones? He said, in Mexico. We're building giant plants, the biggest plants anywhere in the world. In Mexico, I said, so you mean they're going to make cars cheaply? They have advantages over labor and other things, and they're going to sell them into the United States, and they're going to put Michigan out of business. Is that what? I don't know anything about that. All I do is build the plants. If you want to see a plant, we'll go to Mexico. I'll show you the biggest plant in the world. That was 9 months ago.
Look, dog, good morning, kind
I saw
sir.
him, and I talked about it all the time because I think it's a serious threat to our country, because not only autos, but other things. So then I see him.
So right now, it seems like a fairly cordial conversation right now. Fairly cordial. But we're about to watch this shit take a left turn. Very quickly. We're about to watch this shit just completely go on into left field. And then Trump has to do what? You know, basically he reverted himself to the 2015 Trump. You know, kind of something that we've all been kind of waiting for and wanting. So anyways.
2 days ago, I was talking at another club, very nice club, and like this, except, I don't know, I think you people are probably even wealthier, okay? This was in Detroit, okay, which was appropriate. And I was showing them all sorts of charts about how their car, you know, it's just gone down. It's like terrible. And
oh,
I saw
man.
him, and I said,
we got Carney up in the building. Carney Vanguard sending $5 on the Cash App as well, man. Holy shit, dude. We've got the dollar dues coming in through thick, man. Very much appreciate that, Carney. It's always, shit like that, man. It fucking adds up so quickly, dude. Like, because of like your guys' Cash App donations and stuff like that, like, no joke, that shit like goes to my daughter. I'm not even joking. Like, all of that right there, like, I'm able to get her diapers and shit because of what you guys. So it's very, to me, it's very, I don't just accept, money from people and then just, I don't care, like, no, man, like, I'm very appreciative of all of it.
How are you doing?
For
How have
real.
you been? I said,
Thank you guys.
could I ask you, how are those plants that you mentioned, those giant plants that you're building in Mexico? How is that coming along? Have you finished them? No, sir. They abandoned the project when they heard you're running. They abandoned the project when they saw that you were winning and doing well. I said, wow.
All the same.
Because I told them, and I said it publicly, they're not going to sell one car into the United States. I said, if I run this country, if I'm going to be president of this country, I'm going to put a 100, 200, 2,000.
I remember when she was born, Pitbull. Isn't that crazy? You know what I mean? I mean, my daughter, myself, she's only 2.5 right now, but it's crazy to think about.
% tariff. They're not going to sell one car
It's
into
about
the
to
United
go
States
down.
because we're not going to destroy our country because I know you're an anti-tariff guy, but I'm the exact opposite. If there was no other way I could have stopped them other than, what am I going to do? Negotiate with Mexico or China? You're not going to get anything from that. I said, I'm going to put a 100, 200, or 300. I'm going to put the highest tariff in history, meaning I'm going to stop them from ever selling a car into the United States. So I just see the guy by accident.
And you know what's crazy? He didn't just do that with the auto industry. I mean, that's basically anything.
He says, sir, they've abandoned and by the way, they built foundations. They were really rocking. They were going to do it. They thought that I was going to win, or maybe they're just holding up. I tell you this, if I don't win, those factories are going to wipe out this country. They're the biggest factories ever built for cars. They're going to wipe out our country. If she wins, and she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. If she wins, she's not going to be thinking about, I couldn't, every speech I made having to do with cars, but every speech I made having to do with tariffs, I'd mentioned that our country is being threatened by Mexico. Now, all of those things, beyond even the car companies, all of those things are now dead. They're dead. I asked him, will they start? Probably not. They're dead as a doornail. If she gets in, it'll start up again.
President Trump, I'll let you give your example.
No,
you talked a lot about tariffs. You look at the American economy, 40 million jobs rely on trade. It accounts for 27% of GDP.
Okay.
If you cut that off, that's also going to have an effect on many, many business people here.
Yeah.
Tariffs also have another side. Isn't that something that you have to acknowledge?
No.
You could be plunging America into the biggest
far,
trade war
No.
since Smoot-Hawley.
But there are no tariffs.
You're going to
Still prying
stop.
and probing.
There are tariffs already
No,
at the
there are
moment.
no tariffs. All you have to do is build your plant in the United States, and you don't have any tariffs.
People,
This
a
is
lot
what
of
I
places, a lot of places like this, there are a lot of jobs that rely on.
And mind you, everyone in the fucking audience, dude, is basically in business. This is all an economics club, of Chicago. So these are all business owners. These are not like people like me,
It's coming here. You're going to basically stop trade with China. You're talking about 60% trade on that, 60% tariffs on that. You're talking, as you said, 100, 200% on things you don't really like. You're also talking about 20.
Holy motherfucking shit, dude. Beezer sent $25 over to the Cash App and said for diapers and for wipes for the daughter, man. Wow. Wow, dude. I'm very, very blessed with that. Thank you, Beezer. That goes so fucking far, dude. Thank you very, very, very much.
20% tariffs on the rest of the world. That is going to have a serious effect on the overall economy. And yes, you're going to find some people who will gain from individual tariffs. The overall effect could be massive.
I agree. It's going to have a massive effect, positive effect. It's going to be a positive.
Stop allowing
let me just
camera.
let me tell you. I know how committed you are to this, and it must be hard for you to spend 25 years talking about tariffs as being negative, and then have somebody explain to you that you're totally wrong. It'll have a negative. It will have. I'll go a step further.
40
If you
million-
don't
40
do
million-
this,
President
this
Trump,
country
40
has
million,
no
40
chance.
million jobs is a lot of jobs to rely on.
They're all coming
It's
back.
just now
Those
You've
about
lost
to
your-
go down. And this is just, we're in the beginning of this shit.
Jobs. Those are 40 million jobs in America that rely on
Are
trade.
you ready? John Deere, great company.
What's up?
They
What's up? I
announced
see you up in here.
about
Appreciate
a year
you.
ago, they're going to build big plants outside of the United States, right? They're going to build them in Mexico.
And you threatened
They're
them
also
with
going to
tariffs
build.
and they stopped.
That's right. I said, if John Deere builds those plants and not selling anything into the United States, they just announced yesterday they're probably not going to build the plants, okay? I kept the jobs here. And
What's
I'll
up,
keep them.
SSW?
John
Good to
Deere
see
will
you. Good
stay
morning,
here.
man.
And I'll tell John Deere, if you do build outside of the United States, you can if you want. For instance, India is a very tough country.
Hey.
It's not only China. You know, China is.
Good
is
morning.
I would say probably the toughest, but there are a lot of tough. You know what's very tough? European Union, our beautiful European countries, wonderful, wonderful. If you add them up, they're almost the size of us. They treat us so badly. We have a deficit. I said to Angela Merkel when she was there, she's not there anymore. I wonder why. But when
It almost
she was
said like
there,
he said Don DeMarco.
I said, Angela, how many Chevrolets do we have in Berlin? Why, Donald, you have none. He said, that's right. How many Fords do we have in Frankfurt? I
Yeah,
don't
Joseph,
know.
what's up, man? Good to
None.
see you, man.
I said, that's right. You know how many cars we have?
Good morning, good morning.
Mercedes-Benz, BMW, all of the different Volkswagen, millions and millions of cars. And then I said, farm products. You know, they don't want our farm. They don't want anything from us. We have deficits.
Dude, what is this
that
camera
are
doing?
crazy. And we're not going to have them anymore. We're going to put tariffs on them, and they're going to do. And
Bro, this is straight from the mainstream media. What kind of bunk ass shit is that?
you know what they can do? The Mercedes-Benz will start building in the United States. And they have a little bit, but you know what they really are? Assembly, like in South Carolina. But they build everything in Germany, and then they assemble it here. They get away with murder because they say, oh, yes, we're building cars. They don't build
Mad
cars.
love, Pablo.
They take
Be
them out
safe
of a
out there,
box
man.
and they assemble them. We could have our child do it.
Can we come back? Let's come back to the
yeah.
Europeans in a second. What about consumers? People out there.
They're going to be the biggest beneficiaries.
Yeah, critics say your tariffs will end up being like a national sales tax.
Nope, nope, the countries will pay.
If you have America at the moment has $3 trillion worth of imports, you're going to add tariffs to every single one of them. That is going to push up the cost for all those people who want to buy foreign goods.
No, what's
That
going
is
to
just
happen?
simple mathematics, President Trump.
It's not. Yeah, it is, but not the way you figured. I was always very good at mathematics.
Yes.
Let me tell you, you're saying
Oh,
3
shit.
trillion.
It's going down. He said, you suck at fucking math. It's fucking crazy. Let me go ahead and bring it back a little bit.
Goods.
No, what's
That
going
is
to
just
happen?
simple mathematics, President Trump.
It's not. Yeah, it is, but not the way you figured. I was always very good at mathematics.
I was good
Let me
at
tell you,
math.
you're saying 3 trillion. Those companies,
$3
no,
worth of
and they don't have to pay. And if by the higher the tariff, the more likely it is to have them come into the
higher
country.
the tariff, the more you're going to put on the value of that piece, those goods, the higher people are going
Ready?
to pay in shops.
Ready? The higher the tariff, the more likely it is that the company will come into the United States and build a factory in the United States so it doesn't have to pay the tariff.
That will-
If I
that will
have,
take-
He's like, what's so fucking hard to understand about that?
That would take many, many.
no, it
that
will
would take
go
many
quickly.
years.
In fact, I'll tell you, you know, there's another theory is that the tariff
The
you
rumble.
make it so high, so horrible, so obnoxious that they'll come right away. When I do the 10%, 10% is really, first of all, 10% when you collect it is hundreds of billions of dollars. The numbers that you're talking, all reducing our deficit. But really, so there's two ways of looking at a tariff. You can do it as a money-making instrument, or you can do it as something to get the companies. Now, if you want the companies to come in, the tariff has to be a lot higher than 10% because 10% is not enough.
No, 100%
Like, they're
minimum.
not going to do it for 10. But you
No,
make
100% minimum. Absolutely, he's correct. 100% to 300%.
a 50% tariff, they're going to come in. Let me tell you the other
What's
thing
up,
about
Papa?
tariffs
Good
that's
morning,
great.
kind sir.
Our steel companies, as
Good to
you
see
know,
you.
3-4 years ago, they were all when I was in office, I saw a man from a big steel company and he was devastated. I knew him for a long time. And it's been a tough business. It was a great business many years ago. And I would not let U.S. steel be sold to Japanese, by the way. It's psychologically, I think.
And he even uses the reference, chestnut checkers kind of thing. But he goes, but It's really checkers. You know, it's funny. He kind of like belittles his own position a little bit. It's great.
That's
I love it.
on steel, as you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't have I would have let it be so. But I would, I would stop it if it hasn't been completed by the time I'm president, because I think it sets a horrible tone. But I had a lot to do with steel. We were going to lose all our steel companies because China, as you remember, was dumping steel at levels that nobody's ever seen before. And I put a 50% tax on that and tariff.
Yeah, but the point of what he's getting at is that it won't even get to this point if he puts tariffs on them. You know what I mean? Then that's when they go, you know what? Fuck that. That's if they accepted the tariff and they still decided to sell, but that's into the United States. Now, the point is to stop them in their tracks and go, well, we're going to do this if you do this. You know, if you want to sell to us and not pay anybody here, you know, it stops them in their track. That's essentially what it's for.
All dumped steel. And it was also bad steel. It was what they call dirty steel. It wasn't good steel, which is a bad thing for structural components of buildings and planes and things like that. They were dumping crap into our country. And I put a 50% tariff. I started at 25. I raised it to 50 because the 25 didn't quite do it. I raised it to 50 and that did it. They stopped dumping steel.
See,
and
the point is to stop them and bring it here.
Saved our steel mills by having that. We saved it. We saved our steel. Now, what was left, because we've lost so much, but there are certain companies you have to have. There are certain things you have to have. Steel, you have to have. If you go to war, you know, there's a possibility you go to war. I kept us out of war. I was the only president in 82 years that kept you out of a war, except I defeated ISIS, but I inherited that war. There's no wars. And by the way, and I think it's very important. We can go, you know, I call it the weave. You can call it, it's got to.
Everyone hates Donald Trump. Orange Mountain
the
bad.
right location at the end. But while we're talking about it, we have never been so close to World War III as we are right now. With what's going on in Ukraine and Russia and the Middle East.
Well, let's.
I had no wars.
And this is still very, very calm. Wait until it goes deeper and deeper where they start debating for real.
The whole world, think of it. And I talked them out of wars. I talked plenty of countries out of wars. I had the whole world, other than ISIS, which I inherited, and I knocked out ISIS in a matter of weeks. It was supposed to take 4 to 5 years. I did it in a matter of weeks. We actually have a great military. We don't know how to use it, but we have a great military.
With great respect, I was asking about tariffs. You've gone off about that. Seeing you brought up tariffs and foreign policy, many people would say the biggest problem with your tariffs is actually geopolitics. You, in your first term, you got some credit for effectively saying that there was a Cold War against China. That's what America was in. You look at the last Cold War against the Soviet Union, America won it in part because it rallied allies to it. You're talking about slamming allies with 30%, 20% tariffs. Isn't this time you're going to end up trying?
If that happens tonight, I'll live stream it. If that is actually happening where Harris is going on Fox, I will absolutely cover that live coverage on the channel. You guys know I will.
To rally the West and you're dividing it instead. Isn't that the real problem with tariffs, even beyond all the problems to the economy, where you keep on bringing up these individual examples, but the overall effect is going to be dramatic?
No, the overall
Answer first about.
That's right, Hardwire. It's true.
How does it help you take on China?
It helps
turning all your allies against.
Tremendously, because China thinks we're a stupid country, a very stupid country. They can't believe that somebody finally got wise to them. Not one president, Bush, Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, have you heard of him? Not one president.
Have you heard of him?
Think of it.
Never heard of her.
Not one president charged China anything. They said, oh, they are a third world nation. They are developing. Well, we're a developing nation too. Take a look at Detroit. Take a look at our cities. We're a developing nation. We have to develop more than they do. We're way behind them. You take a look at what's happened to our cities. So what I'm saying is this.
My question was about your allies, not about China. You are going to annoy
our allies.
Rally behind you.
But our allies have taken advantage of us more so than our enemies. Our allies are the European Union. We have a trade deficit of $300 billion with the European Union. Our allies are Japan. You know, Abe was a very good friend of mine. He was a great guy, great And I said to him in Japan, he was assassinated. And he was a great man. He really was. I didn't see too many like him. And he got very sick and he had to take
Rebecca,
off. And
good
then
to see you.
He was actually making a comeback.
Oh,
He was gonna
shit.
make a comeback.
That's
and he
5
would've
p.m.
won
my
easy.
time. Shit. Okay. I'll be doing that then. I'll cover it live tonight.
But he was a great gentleman, handsome, wonderful man, respected by everybody. And I went to him and I said, Shinzo, we have to talk. What? Trade. And he goes, I'll never forget it. I know. I said, what do you know? I knew you'd come to me. Why do you say that? Because I can't believe, I wouldn't tell the story if he was alive, actually. Said, I can't believe how many years it's been that nobody even negotiated with us in America. I said, Shinzo,
Hell
you have to pay
yeah.
for your cars. They're sending millions
I'll
of
need to be
cars.
drunk too.
You don't accept a car from us. You don't have one car that you accept, and yet we're selling 3 million, 4 million of your cars. I said, Shinzo, on agriculture, you won't even accept our agriculture. And I renegotiated the whole trade deal from a little disadvantage because I was stuck with a bad deal. I mean, I got stuck. We have trade deals that were so bad that I said, who are the people that are doing it? They're either very stupid or they're getting paid off, okay? It's one or the other. It's very simple. We have the worst trade deals all over the world. South Korea, I love South Korea. They're wonderful people, extremely ambitious. They have a money machine. We protect them from North Korea and other people.
He's actually about to drop a bombshell of news right here on this stage regarding Korea, South Korea, North and South. Man, it's going to be some shit's going down over there, man.
North Korea is very nuclear. I got along with him very well. Kim Jong-un.
Yes.
But wait, they don't pass anything. And I said,
Easier.
this is crazy. If I didn't put tariffs on, the motor company, the car companies, they make most of their money at small trucks. I put tariffs on China, but I put 27.5%. Otherwise, we'd be flooded with Chinese cars. And all of our factories would
What's up with
close.
this
We'd have no
cameraman?
jobs at all in the auto industry. That goes for electric, by the way, which is a killer,
Yep.
which I've explained, and I don't think I have to bore anybody by talking about it. But I put tariffs on South Korea because they were sending in trucks. And I put tariffs on, fairly substantial tariffs. Do you know that our car companies make almost all of their money with the small trucks, SUVs and small trucks? If I took those
He's
tariffs
right.
on, you would be inundated. Every car company would be out of business. And I got calls from Ford. I got calls from everybody.
Good morning,
saying,
Tiffany.
Sir, I can't believe you're doing this for us. You saved our company. They make all their money with us. They make most of their money with the small truck and, the SUVs.
Many consumers ended up with more expensive cars. But let me just come at you on foreign policy.
You wouldn't have a car company.
Yeah.
You have said.
Yeah,
the
they
top-
got earthquakes in Chicago. Some shit's going down. The cameraman is allowing people to walk around on like a fucked up floor or something. I'd be like, get the fuck away. You guys are shaking the camera, dude. Cameraman sucks.
Taiwan should pay for US protection.
Yeah.
I ask because this morning you just mentioned North Korea. The Chinese army, literally as we speak, are engaged in rehearsals for a full naval blockade of Taiwan. So I suppose my question to you,
Yeah.
if China invades Taiwan, would you send American troops to defend it?
Well, the reason they're doing it now is they're not going to do it afterwards, okay? So they're doing it now. They want to do it China. Look, I had a very good relationship with President Xi, and a very good relationship with Putin, and a very good relationship with Kim Jong-un, who has a nuclear force that you won't even believe. And by the way, today it was announced for those that he just blew up the railroad.
Yes,
Going
right here.
into-
This is a little side tangent, but it's true. Once he said this shit, I looked it up and I was like mind blown by this.
Today it was announced for those that he just blew up the railroad going into South Korea. That means South Korea is now cut off from Russia and China and various other places.
That's
cut
fucked.
off by rail.
President Trump, you just mentioned.
No, but these are big things. I have to mention that.
Yeah, you just mentioned.
He's right. Absolutely. Like, I have to fucking bring attention to shit. I have to.
Mentioned Putin, though. And this has been this controversy of the past week. Can you say yes or
That
no whether
totally
you have
fucking
talked
sucks,
to
Tiffany.
Vladimir Putin since you stop being president.
Well, I don't comment on that, but I will tell you that if I did, it's a smart thing. If I'm friendly with people, if I
Morning,
have a
Tats. Good morning.
relationship with people, that's a good thing, not a bad thing in terms of a country. He's got 2,000 nuclear weapons, and so do we. China has a lot less, but they'll catch us within 5 years.
That sounds
If
very
I have a
much
relationship,
like
I don't talk about.
did talk
I don't talk about. No, I don't talk about that.
You
I don't.
talk about
I don't
talking
ever
to
say it.
Netanyahu, you talk
But I
about
can
talking
tell you
to
what:
these people.
Russia has never had a president that they respect so much. But more importantly, or less
You're
importantly, I
gonna,
guess,
dude. He has. This is nothing. This is nothing compared to what it's about to get. Like, I'm not joking. Like, this was supposed to be a conversation of economics in the United States. And then all of a sudden you're going to see, I mean, it's getting a little worse and worse, where he's trying to do like a gotcha moment. And you're going to see that he's going to push too far. Watch.
yes. I went into Russia, and people said, "Oh, he likes Putin, and Putin likes him." Let me tell you, the first thing I did was terminated Nord Stream 2. Nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2. It's a pipeline from Russia to Germany and all over Europe. I said, wait a minute, to NATO. I said, so let's get this straight. My first meeting, I said, so Putin's building the biggest pipeline in the world. He's going to Germany, but all over Europe. And
No, it's going to turn into a full-on debate. This guy's supposed to ask Trump questions and let him answer. And fuck your narrative, okay, dude? Like, I could care fucking less about your narrative. I want to hear from Trump. You know what I mean? All you have to do is ask the fucking question. You don't need to sit there and try to fact check him and all this bullshit, because it actually works against you, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
It's
It's
billions
crazy.
of dollars a year, billions of dollars a month. You're paying, Germany's paying billions of dollars a month. And we're supposed to protect you against the guy that you're paying all this money to. So is there something wrong with my thinking? So he's building a pipeline to Germany, and we're spending, and by the way, until I got there, we were spending almost 100% for NATO because we had all these delinquent countries they weren't paying.
He's letting it all
When
out.
I got there, I said, you know what? And by the way, my biggest fan is Stoltenberg, just leaving, Secretary General of NATO. He said, when Bush came in, he made a speech and left. When Obama came in, he made a speech and left. When Trump came in, he made
Rest in peace, the mainstream media. They're all doing it. They're all doing it. And everybody hates it.
a speech, and he said, let me see your books. And I found out in the books that nobody was paying. There were only 7 countries that were paying. We were supporting NATO. They screw us on trade so bad, the European nations.
Dude, if we weren't in NATO, if the United States was not in NATO, NATO would cease to exist. We fund it 100%. And he's absolutely right. We're the ones that fund this shit. Absolutely. Sorry.
And then on top of that, they were screwing us on the military. So they're taking a tremendous advantage of us, $350 billion deficit on trade. And we're then supporting them. In other words, it's not sustainable. You can't keep doing this. You can't have that, China, all of these countries. And
just like the UN, they're both the same shit. NATO and the UN, man. That's something that we fund both of them 100%. It's fucking crazy, and they're garbage ass fucking organizations, dude. I'm gonna say it. Absolutely garbage. UN and NATO suck balls, dude.
people made these deals. I saw trade deals that were so stupid that you'd have to be, that was so bad that you'd have to be an idiot to
Mega
sign
love,
them.
SSW.
And we signed them for years. We had, I could tell you trade deals that I have never seen anything. I said, who would agree to this? They had to be corrupt. They had to be corrupt. To make those deals, they had to be corrupt.
Sir, Papa.
Because there is no way a rational human being, I always say either corrupt or extremely
What up,
stupid.
Richard? Good morning, good
Because
morning.
there's no way a rational human being would ever sign the trade deals that this country signed. And I got out of many of those deals. I told South Korea, I'm sorry, you're going to have to pay for your military. We have 40,000 troops over there. You're going to have to pay. You become a very wealthy country. Just to finish, you become a very wealthy. They said, no, we will not pay. We will not. We haven't paid since the Korean
What up, Sage?
War.
Good to see you, man.
I said, no,
Good morning,
you
good
got to
morning.
pay.
Appreciate you for
I
being
said,
here, man.
would $5 billion a year to start off with. No, they went crazy. They agreed to 2. I got $2 billion for nothing. And I said, here's what we're going to do. They said, we can't agree to this because we have to go through Parliament. They have the Parliament or whatever their legislature is. I said, that's okay. I fully understand that. Make it $2 billion. But next year I'm going to talk to you again. And I was going to make it $5 billion. And they knew it was coming. The happiest people to see that it was Biden instead of Trump with them, South Korea. You know what they did? They cut off the deal that I made where they were paying us. They backed to nothing because they went back to Biden and they gave it to him for nothing. They were willing to pay. We have 40,000 troops in harm's way. Very serious, because you have North Korea is a very serious power. They have tremendous nuclear power. And I said to South Korea, you got to pay. And they agreed to do it. And Biden then
Isn't that crazy?
cut it back. And it's
Did it work?
And I could tell you 50 deals. And if I were there now, they'd
I
be
know the
paying
feeling.
us $10
I got
billion.
hammered drunk last night. You know what I mean? So I feel sluggish myself, you know, but I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Totally. What do you guys think? If I didn't tell you I got hammered last night, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't even know, dude.
$1 a year. And you know what? They'd be happy to do it. It's a money machine, South Korea. You're going to mention Taiwan. You wanted to mention
No,
Taiwan.
you mentioned Taiwan. You said you would defend them. You also seemed to imply that Putin, you would not. Putin, you seemed to imply that you had talked to him without
I
actually
didn't
confirming.
imply. I said I don't
Richard,
comment on those
we can
things.
tell.
What about, can I ask you a particular
Stop the
thing
cat.
about the dollar? You talked about wars. The New York
Oh, all right. This is actually going to get interesting from here on out. Watch.
Economic Club, you said that if you lost the dollar as a reserve currency, it would be like America losing a war.
Yeah.
You look at what you're going to do in terms of protectionism.
Oh, I'll
drive.
I actually don't know his actual position, Rebecca, but I do know that he works for Bloomberg, which is a news source. It's a big news outlet. And yeah,
Countries to use the other.
Yeah.
he's just an
currencies.
anchor.
And all that debt is also going to lessen the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency.
If I'm
you worry
elected,
about
the
that.
dollar is so secure. Your reserve currency is the strongest it'll ever be. And
You
no
say
country.
that. You said President
Yeah,
Trump,
Hank, I'm 29. I'm 29. I was born in 95, graduated high school in 2013, bro. Wow.
at the moment, there is a thing called the Trump trade in the markets. Do you know what that is? The Trump trade is very simple. People are betting that your policies are going to drive up debt. They're going to drive up inflation. So they're going to drive up interest rates. Are the investors wrong?
Yeah, I had 4 years no inflation. I had 4 years no inflation.
But that was when you had much.
I had 4 years. It's better than that. And
We must protect the little one, the young one at all costs. Absolutely, Rebecca.
who has
Appreciate
no
you.
idea where the hell he is, okay? Biden went 2 years with no inflation
I don't know.
because he
Look,
inherited.
dog, I allow them. You know what I mean? I honestly, I love having people in here that don't agree. I love it. You know what I mean? And I love the conversation back and forth. You know, as long as you guys keep it respectful, you know what I mean? To a certain extent. I mean, it's YouTube and the internet, you know, there's going to be jabs. But yeah, man, yeah, I have boxers older than Mike. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I welcome it. I welcome bringing your worldview and actually hearing your worldview and then showing why your worldview sucks. You know what I mean? I love that shit. It's something that I truly
me.
enjoy.
And then they started spending money like drunken sailors. They spent so much money. It was so ridiculous, the money they were spending. They were spending on the Green New Scam. The Green New Scam, the Green New Deal, you know, it was conceived of by AOC +3. She never even studied the environment in college. She went to a nice college. She came out, she just said, the Green New Scam. She just named all these things.
President Trump,
Wait a minute.
Oh, did he get his little feelers hurt?
Emotional damage.
What's happening right now? Did you see him as soon as the Green New Scam thing that he just said? As soon as he did that, did you see this guy flinching? You look at his body, just the body. It's all body language. Watch this shit. This is crazy.
The environment in college. She went to a nice college. She came out, she just said, the Green New
Good to
Scam.
see you,
She just
Stefan.
named all these things.
President Trump, the
No,
issue,
but
the issue
wait
at
a
the moment,
minute.
the issue at the moment, the markets are looking at the fact you are making all these promises. Latest one was car loans. You're flooding the thing with giving giveaways.
But we're going to grow.
I was actually quite kind to you. I used 7 trillion. The upper estimate is 15 trillion. People like the Wall Street Journal, who's hardly a communist organization,
Yeah, but you don't know.
they have criticized you on this as well. You are running up enormous debts.
What does the Wall Street Journal know? I'm meeting with them tomorrow. What does the Wall Street Journal know? They've been wrong about everything. So have you.
Look at, oh, shit. Look at, as soon as the body language changed on Trump, he went in defense mode, arms crossed. Yeah, it's going down now. Look at the difference there to there in Trump's, just in a 10-second span right there.
You don't know.
They have criticized you on this as well. You are running up enormous debts.
What does the Wall Street Journal know? I'm meeting with them tomorrow. What does the Wall Street Journal know? They've been wrong about everything. So have you, by the way.
Oh,
You've been wrong about
You're trying to turn this. You're trying to turn this.
You've been wrong about
No, you're trying to turn this into debate.
No, motherfucker, you are.
But you're wrong. You've been wrong. You've been wrong all your life on this stuff. You've been wrong.
No.
And let me tell you about currency. You're gonna, you're going jumping a lot of different subjects. The reserve currency. Let's stick to reserve currency. That's where you started, right? The reserve currency is under threat because you have Iran, you have Russia, you have China. China's the one that you have to worry about because they want it.
Yeah.
They want to have the yuan be the thing of power. So here's what I'm doing. Again, I hate to go back to it. If somebody says, and I know countries want to get out because they don't respect our leadership, they look at this guy, they say, you got to be kidding. And she's worse than him. By the way, I never thought I'd say this. She is not as smart as Biden, if you can believe. This is not what, we had 4 years of this lunacy, and we can't have it anymore. We're not going to have a country left. Okay, currency. Very important.
Currency.
Yes.
Damn.
And if you want to go,
He was going on a whole ass tangent, went back to the fucking Bloomberg dude and was like, okay, back to currency. Like, holy shit.
4 years of this lunacy, and we can't have it anymore. We're not going to have a country left. Okay, currency. Very important.
Yes.
And if you want to go to third world status, lose your reserve currency. We have to have that. We cannot lose it. If you'll go to third world status in this country.
I agree.
You take a look at the way things are running. If a country tells me, sir, we like you very much, but we're going to no longer adhere to being in the reserve currency. We're not going to salute the dollar anymore. I'll say that's okay. And you're going to pay a 100% tariff on everything you sell into the United States. And we love your product. I hope you sell a lot of it into the United States, but you're going to pay 100% tariff. He will then follow it up by saying, sir, it would be an honor to stay with the reserve currency. That will be like just playing. That's not even chess, that's checkers.
What up, Tech X? Good to see you, man.
Listen to this. You don't have other people that can talk that way. You know, a lot of people say, we love Trump's policy, but we would like to have another messenger because we don't like him. He's a little bit crass. And then actually,
fuck this cameraman, dude. Fire this dude. Get another fucking cameraman that is actually not going to just set it and forget it. Jesus
Christ. It was
Christ.
Lindsey Graham, I must say. He was a progressive, in all fairness. But Lindsey Graham said, but Trump's policy doesn't work without Trump. And there's a lot of truth to that. Macron was going to, nice guy, Emmanuel. He's a wise guy, but he's for France, and we're for the USA. You know this story. He was going to tax American companies doing business in France, a very substantial tax. And I told my people, I didn't even like the companies, but I'm representing American companies. And this guy, so I said, call Macron and call his people and say, we're not going to stand for that. And I got Mnuchin and, a lot of guys, smart guys, if I can finish. Yeah. I'll go longer if you want, if it helps. Because you got to be able to finish. You move too quick. No, you got to be able to finish a thought. Yeah. Because
damn. He said, motherfucker, you gotta elaborate on a lot of this shit. You gotta be able to, discuss these things. What's up with this, like, quick pace, everything? He's like, I gotta talk about all of this. You know what I mean? There's a lot to go over.
Important. This is big stuff we're talking about. You can't go that quickly.
You've gone from the dollar to
so let me just tell you. So I said, no, I'm just telling you basic, it's called the weave. It's all these different things happen. Yeah. So let me just say, so I said to Mnuchin, call him up and say, No way. He did, and he came back to see me. He said, they won't do it, sir. It's too late. I said to somebody else, you call. Then I said, let me do it. And I called him. And I said, Emmanuel, you're taxing American companies very substantially. You're not doing it with other companies. You must think we're stupid. It's not going to happen. But Donald, I cannot do anything. It's too late. Or it was approved by a legislature. I said, that's okay. Here's the story. Every bottle of wine and champagne that you send into the United States, effective immediately, and I'm signing it as I speak, I'm charging you 100% on every bottle of wine and champagne. They like the wine and champagne, right? Every bottle of wine and champagne that comes into the United States of America has a tax on, starting on Monday morning, this was a Friday, of 100%. And that's better than you're doing, okay?
That's right. If it looks like a fupa, if it is a fupa, eat it like a chalupa. You know what I mean?
And he said, no, you cannot do that. I said, I've done it.
I love
it's
the
already
accent.
signed. Monday morning goes, may I call you back? Yes.
Oh my
calls me
God,
back in about
Beezer,
3
that is
minutes.
so funny.
We have decided to remove
Them and their
the
fake
tax
hair
from
hat.
the companies. I did this all day long, but you don't have. You think Biden does that? I don't think so.
Let me ask you a very factual question.
Very
The
factual.
Federal Reserve.
Listen to what the fucking nomenclature. Let me ask you a factual question. Well, all these fucking questions should be factual. What the fuck man?
Yeah.
You say you don't want interest rates to go higher. You've gone backwards and forwards about
Depends
whether
on the
you want to
times.
whether you want to keep Jerome Powell as chair of the Federal Reserve. His term as chair runs on to May 2026. Would you seek to remove or demote him?
Look, I think it's the greatest job in government. You show up to the office once a month and you say, let's see.
Oh,
Flip a
shit.
coin.
Oh shit.
And everybody talks about you like you're a god. Oh, what will he do? I mean, before, the guy used to walk into my office, he was like begging. Oh, he was fine.
But you did talk
You know,
about you talked about removing him once.
I did, because he was keeping the rates too high.
Yeah.
And I was right.
And you would do that again.
In fact, he actually dropped them too much when I did this, because I said I was threatening to terminate him. There was a question as to whether or not you could. And there was an article in the New York Times, 2 half pages. 1 page said I can do it by lawyers. 1 half page said I couldn't. And that was enough for him. And he dropped the hell out of the rates. He dropped them too much. He went so, he dropped them actually too much. Okay. Here's the story. I think that if you're a very good president with good sense, you should be able to at least talk to him. I don't say make the decision at all, but I've been a very successful businessman. I've done really good, much better. Now people are understanding how good I've done because they're seeing it much better than the fake news wants to give me credit for.
Just on
really
the issue
good
of whether you would replace
I think I have the right to say, as a very good businessman and somebody that's used a lot of sense, I think I have the right to say that, I think I'm better than he would be. I think I'm better than most people would be in that position. I think I have the right to say, I think you should go up or down a little bit. I don't think I should be allowed to order it, but I think I have the right to put in comments as to whether or not interest rates should go up or down.
When you looked at the Supreme Court, you came up with a list of people
I did.
who you thought of replacing, bringing in as Supreme Court justices.
Yeah.
Would you do that with the Federal Reserve?
Well, I no longer need it. It was a great thing. In fact, a lot of people said I got elected because of that. I was an unknown quantity. I was very known as a business guy, but I wasn't known as a political person or the leader of a country. And people were very worried about, actually they were worried, am I going to be liberal, if you want to know the truth?
Huh.
And somebody said, would you come up with a list of 20 or 25 justices, in this case mostly judges, that you'd put in case it were necessary? Now, it's amazing because I got 3 in 4 years. Most people get none because, you put them in, they're young. You tend to put them in young. Only stupid people put old.
I agree,
you don't put
Beezer.
old in
I agree.
because they're there for 2 years or 3 years. Right?
You're
So you put them in
It's over
young.
with.
So I got 3. A lot of judges, a lot of presidents get none. I got 3. And
What we're actually watching and witnessing between these two is just information warfare. That's what it is.
I think they've been 3 great choices too, by the way. But
Just on the
and
Federal
by the way,
Reserve question.
I think they have been really great
Right,
choices.
Sessa.
But I got 3 judges, and you know what they want to do? They want to now put up to 25 justices into the Supreme Court, the radical left, and that can't happen. So I think I've done a great job on putting in justices and 300 judges, and that made a tremendous difference in the country. You know, I was a little lucky because Barack Hussein Obama did not get his judges approved, a lot of them. So I ended up with 125 judges before I got there. So again, most presidents don't even get to put a Supreme Court judge in because there's 9. And, you know, they're there for a long time. Most of them are there for a very long time. And I got 3, which is a very unusual situation. I got 3 in 4 years.
Maybe we can change the subject to technology, seeing you wouldn't answer about the Federal Reserve. The US Justice Department is thinking about breaking up Alphabet, as Google likes to be known now. Should Google be broken up?
Oh, shit.
I just haven't gotten over something the Justice Department did yesterday, where Virginia cleaned up its voter rolls and got rid of thousands and thousands of bad votes, and the Justice Department sued them that they should be allowed to put those bad votes and illegal votes back in.
Good to see you,
and
man.
let the people
Good morning,
vote.
good morning.
So I haven't gotten over that.
That's right. That's right. Fuck school. No, I'm just kidding. I'm capping.
Not the cap.
But hey, celebration for being out. Hell yeah.
A lot of people have seen that. They can't even believe it.
The question is about Google, President Trump.
Yeah, look, Google's got a lot of power. They're very bad to me, very, very bad to me. I mean, I can speak from that standpoint. They only have bad stories. In other words, if I have 20 good stories and 20 bad stories, and everyone's entitled to that, you'll only see the 20 bad stories. And I called
That's the
head of
media.
Google the other day, and I said, I'm getting a lot of good stories lately, but you don't find them in Google. I think it's a whole rigged deal. I think Google's rigged just like our government is rigged.
Of course it
all
is.
over the place.
You would break them up, in other words.
I'd do something, but you have to have, look, I give them a lot of credit. They've become such a
That's
power.
right, Nitro. Good to see you,
such a
man.
Power, and you got to give them credit for that. How they became a power is, you know, really the discussion.
Neither does he. You'll see the way he answers this. He doesn't like breaking up a company either, even if it's a terrible fucking shitty company or totally biased. I'm definitely not for breaking up a company.
Same time, it's a very dangerous thing because we want to have great companies. We don't want China to have these companies.
Well,
right now, China is afraid of Google. Right now, you know, China is a very powerful, very smart group of people. I will tell you that from very personal
There's an example of a Chinese tech company at the moment, TikTok.
Yeah.
You initially wanted to ban TikTok. Now you like it, apparently, for some reason to do with Facebook.
Yeah.
There is a decision coming up if you became president.
That's right, Steve.
Its Chinese parent would have to sell it. I think it's by January the 19th. Would you force them to do that?
So I originally had it all done. And then I said to Congress, your decision. I said, I'm not going to, you know, pull any strings, nothing. Your decision. You make it. But I had it all done. And I said, you make it. And they decided not to make it. I didn't care if they made it or not, because to me it was a flip of a coin. You know, you have some real First Amendment problems. You have a lot of problems.
You just talked about Chinese technology, the need to defend against it.
Yeah.
TikTok and the threats people see to many kind of American children and things like that.
Yeah, but
you know, why do you no longer see TikTok as a security threat?
I think it is a threat. Frankly, I think everything's a threat. There's nothing that's not a threat. But sometimes you have to fight through these threats. You know, you can't just, like Google. I'm not a fan of Google. They treat me badly. But are you going to destroy the company by doing that? If you do that, are you going to destroy the company? What you can do without breaking it up is make sure that it's more fair. They do treat me very badly. Oh, and he told me, no way. You're the #1 person on all of Google for stories. I mean, which probably makes sense.
I'm just going to leave this up there for a second, because you're right.
Most of them are bad stories, but these are minor details, right? And it's only bad because of fake news, because the news is really fake. That's the one we really have to straighten. We have to straighten out our press, because we have a corrupt press. That's the one we really have.
Can I ask you? Can I ask you about Silicon? I was in Silicon Valley recently,
You talk to the tech bosses there and the tech people, and there seems to be a real fear that what you would do with tech is you would hand it over to Elon Musk and say, you sort it out.
No, I have great respect for Elon. Look, I saw that rocket ship come in yesterday and go right back to where it took off, to the gantry, I guess they call it. And I said, what the hell? I was on a phone talking about probably politics, and the television's on.
Probably politics.
And I'm seeing this big thing where the white paint was burned off it from the, thousands of miles an hour, the heat. And I see this big, massive tube that's 10 stories, 20 stories tall come down. I told the person on the phone, wait a minute, I'm seeing something that's...
I agree.
I don't believe it. Neither does anybody else here.
I fucking hate TikTok. I fucking hate it. I think it is one of the worst platforms in history. But do I think that the government should go in there and demolish it, or say you can't, do business or whatever? Fuck no. Fuck no. Why do they have a fucking say in this shit? How I make my money? Fuck you, man. That's crazy.
And I said, wait a minute. I forgot the guy was on the phone. He waited for a half hour. And I watched that come down. And I watched it come down and come right in between those big levers. And I said, and it looked to me like I was going to crash.
Thank you, brother SNS, for all the links, man.
And all
I
of a
appreciate
sudden,
you.
boom, you see
Big
the
dog.
motor, the fire kick in. And I called Elon. I said, that's the most incredible thing. I said, can Russia do that? Nope. I said, can the United States do it? Nope. He's the only one that can do it. And I said,
you now want to put him in charge of deregulation.
Not deregulation.
Yeah, fuck that
cutting.
platform.
Cutting wasteful spending.
Cutting.
Every single
Which would
president,
include
including
deregulation.
I've
got to approve it.
Every president comes in and talks about cutting wasteful spending.
Oh, there's tremendous works.
Give me an example of something you will do that will get rid of government spending.
Well, let me give you an example. When I came into government,
Nitro.
the first thing.
An example going forward.
Well, no,
not
but
what you did in the past.
this is going forward because it's the same thing. When I first sat down, a general came into my office and he said, "Sir, it's nice to meet you. Would you please sign this?" I said, "What is it?" "It's a contract for a new Air Force One, which is actually two planes, not one, two Boeing 747. And I said, "How much is it?" $5.7 billion. So it's a hell of an expensive plane. But there's reasons for that. He said, "Nope, I'm not signing it." I said, "Who negotiated
$5 billion for a
Barack
plane?"
Hussein Obama. I said, "I'm not signing it." Why? Because there's a lot of fat. He said, "I'm not signing. It's got to have a 3 on it." Anyway, long story short, some of you have heard this. I got it down to, because first week they cut off $400 million.
Damn.
He said, "I'll cut." I met with the head of Boeing. Wait.
So he's saying he met with the head of Boeing and already got $400 million off that ticket from just negotiating.
Dennis. I said, "Dennis, you got to have a 3. 5.7 is too much. 5.7 billion." He said, "The most I'll take off is $400 million. I said, "Well, that's not bad for one conversation." So he got it down. I said, "Nope, I'm not accepting." Then he took off 2 more. Then he
you have to be crooked like us to be in the Breakfast Club, man. I appreciate you guys becoming members, by the way. We're going to do a membership drive on Friday, man. That's going to be a great ass time. And then the very next day is members only for all of you guys on Saturday morning, man. It's going to be a great ass time. Appreciate all the patronage to the channel. Thank you guys for the cash apps, man. Listen, it goes very, very, very far. Beezer, again, thank you, kind sir, for the kind $25 donation over there for my daughter, man. Saying get some diapers and wipes and shit, man. That goes so fucking far, man. I'm very appreciative. TikTok is a national security issue. How do you think so, Dog? I'm just curious in the thought process there. Haven't signed up and I won't sign up. You talking about TikTok? Yeah. I have a TikTok and I actually have a couple of videos that have a couple million views on them on TikTok, but I fucking cannot stand, and this is my content, that goes viral and shit. I cannot stand the people on TikTok. I can't stand the user interface. I don't like anything about it. I think it's garbage.
Anyway,
the creators on there.
3 months went by. I thought we blew the deal and it was okay with me. I didn't care. But we should have a new Air Force One. When we see these planes from Saudi Arabia, from different countries, brand new, and ours is like 32 years old, And it's a very different plane. It's a much smaller plane. You know, the whole thing. The United States should have the best plane, I will tell you. Not
I
for
agree.
me.
Well, I
We
mean,
should have
we're
it.
like that with
let me
everything.
just finish.
Would you?
So he said, he calls up after like 2-3 months.
This guy over here from Bloomberg is really fucking trying to interject here.
I didn't call him, which is the best way to buy something. Don't call back. And he goes, in fact, when he called me, I said, I wonder what the hell he wants. That's a good way to negotiate, let me tell you. So calls back, said, sir, 3,999,999,99 1 penny above, below $4 billion. So I said,
3.9 billion.
you got yourself a deal. Then I said to him, let me ask you a
That's
question.
hilarious, straight jacket.
So you had a deal at 5.7 billion, and in a period of 2 months, I got 1.7 billion off. That means you're going to make $1.7 billion profit on an airplane. Did nobody ever negotiate with you? Well, not really, sir. They just, this is the price. And they said, we'll take it. And I said, you know, and then I learned, that was my first
Really?
experience.
$150 for a
then
phone?
I learned everything is like that. There is
If he does that, that would be actually very, very fucking smart. That would be very smart. I'm not going to lie. I mean, dude, not everyone can afford or wants a $1,800 iPhone. You know what I mean? Not everyone. And dude, if you come in and you destroy the market with a $150 phone and it works, and it's, let's say it's a smartphone for real, because I know nothing about it, by the way. I know nothing about this. I'm going to do some research in this. You guys are confirming it. Wow. That's so funny. Lily says, so that's why you've been walking funny straight. Oh, shit.
Emotional damage.
Woo! It's getting hot.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Yes, sir. Let's get into this.
so much waste. So I'm getting, think of this, the exact same plane for 1.7 billion less, except I have a better paint job. Okay, much better paint job. A different color, red, white, and blue is beautiful. And if you look at every contract, that's one contract and relatively small compared to most. Think of it. You save 1.7 billion because you negotiate. Every deal is like that. We're building ships that are costing 2-3 times more.
Can you give me an example of
There's
something?
tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse in our country. And if you could cut it, you would have a surplus without even going into growth. But growth, we will grow. We're going to bring companies and jobs in at levels that you've never seen. And you would never be able to do it because you're not a believer in tariffs. The only way, let me tell you, the only way you can do it is through the threat of tariffs.
Good business model, man.
The only way you can do it.
Can we come back to one thing on that? Deal making. You look out across this room, there's some big businesses, but a lot of small ones.
A lot of
By the
big
way,
ones.
you've given us a lot of examples of things where you've negotiated with the heads of big businesses.
Remember, everyone in the fucking crowd is a business owner. This ain't no people like me and you guys. I'm sorry. These are big business that is there. And there's some small people in there too, small business. But this is all business people in the fucking audience. It's not just goofballs like me.
Right.
Give you an example. When you put the tariffs on China, much smaller than you're planning to do at the moment, when you put them on, Apple came.
Good to see you, Carney, by the way.
You negotiated a difference for them.
I did.
That's much harder for small business people. Isn't the problem with the way that you do these kind of deals? You're bound to deal with the big companies. It's the small companies who get hit by all these different things and can't find exceptions.
Oh, we have exceptions. No, we had an exception rule. I gave Apple an exception. Tim Cook is a great business.
Apple is not a small company. And
No.
Please don't give it to Cook.
But here's what happened.
The question is about small business.
Yes, but I
What
would
will
make
you do for them?
No, but we have a very talented group of people. Bob Lighthizer did a very good job. We had great people. We had central casting. These are great, and a large group of people. We made exceptions. In the case of Apple, they needed an exception. You know why? Because of Samsung.
Yep.
He came to me and he said, Samsung makes a product similar to ours,
Listen to
very
this.
good product, the phones and other things. And because they're in South Korea, they don't have the tariffs. Because we're in China, we have the tariffs. I said, you happen to be right. You're not going to be able to compete. I said, look, I'm going to give you a 1-year break, but I want you to start building your factories
agree, your
in
boy.
this country, whether it's Texas or any other place, anywhere in the country. And he said, what does that mean? I said, you have everything in China. I want you to move it from China back to our country. And he started doing that. And he built a factory, a big one in Texas. He built another one.
Dope.
And this was all a process. It was all happening. But I did give him an exception. And the reason was, he said, as soon as he said Samsung, I said, how is that product compared to yours? He said, it's a good product. I said, then you really can't compete. You can't have a 25 or 50% tariff and compete, right? Yeah. And I said, I'm giving you an exception. And I did it for many companies. We had
so he allowed, because I mean, you'd be having, for instance, if an Android phone is $1,000 and Apple is like $2,000 or whatever, you can't compete. The competition's fucked. So what he did there was, there are small exceptions like that he will do. You know what I mean? He will do those small exceptions.
Businesses come and see.
I know, but
that was the question.
Which are big exceptions, actually. But
we do for small business. I'll give you another example. We have a man,
Rebecca,
who I didn't know, but he came to me. He was at a meeting, and he built kitchen cabinets. And he was, pretty big in the business. That's all he did, is build kitchen cabinets. He said, sir, China
I'm iPhone all the way. Sorry.
and South Korea are building kitchen cabinets for 1/3 of what I can make them. I said, what's the quality? They're not as good, but they're good enough. I can't compete. I'm going out of business. I have 2,000 people that work for me.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the hurricanes and actually being able to control them. We're going to go ahead and talk about that tonight. There's a lot of shit that I didn't know about. And of course, I can definitely have my opinion change based off facts. You know what I mean? So tonight is going to be a fucking crazy ass diamond effect. Make sure you guys tune in tonight, 7 p.m. CST. You know what I mean? So it's always a good ass fucking time.
Going out of business. I put a 25% tariff still on kitchen cabinets. I saw the guy 3 days ago.
Apple haters, man.
He said, I'm the man that saw you about kitchen cabinets. You saved my company when you did the tariff, and you saved thousands of jobs. And my company is now doing very well. And he started to cry. And this guy hasn't cried too much,
shit.
I will tell you. He said, you saved my company. There's nobody that could have done that.
Maybe I can ask you then about something else. Yeah. Business people here in this room.
He does a little bit. You wait. He might bring out the tinfoil hat, homie. You know what I mean?
Business people, capital markets, they all like the rule of law. They like certainty. The Chinese, who you mentioned, other dictators,
right?
They don't like it when things go wrong. But they like it when things go wrong in
Seymour,
America.
Good to see you, man.
If you look at the events of January the 6th, 2021.
Good morning. Good morning.
It showed to many people America's democracy was unruly and violent. Only 3 weeks to go to the election. Will you commit now to respecting and encouraging?
Oh my fucking God. Always these stupid, like you could ask any fucking question and you decide to do the bullshit questions. All right. We backed it up a little bit.
It showed to many people America's democracy was unruly and violent. Only 3 weeks to go to the election. Will you commit now to respecting and encouraging a peaceful transfer of power?
Well, you had a peaceful transfer of power.
You had a peaceful transfer of power. You had a peaceful.
They absolutely do. HARP is a very, very real thing. And you have to be a little bit open-minded about it. But there are true facts that we're going to present tonight. So anyhow.
Come on, President Trump. You had a peaceful transfer of power compared with Venezuela. But it was by far the worst.
Holy fucking shit. Did you just say that? There's no way you just said that.
You had a peaceful. Come on, President Trump. You had a peaceful transfer of power compared with Venezuela. But it was by far the worst transfer of power for a long time.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because this is what they like to do. This is what they like to do.
It is.
And it's very interesting.
The question, President Trump, is would you respect the decision?
When I found out about this interview, I did a little check. He's a man that has not been a big Trump fan over the years. So I had a choice. Do I do this interview or not? I'm glad I did it. But do I do this interview or do I disappoint a lot of people? Because I know a lot of people in the audience. But his view is very different.
Compared to Venezuela.
March, we had a term peacefully and patriotically. These were people. If you think an election is crooked, and I do 100%, if you think the day it comes when you can't protest, you take a look at the Democrats, they protested 2016, they're still protesting it. Nobody talks about them. But if we protest, we want to have honest elections. You think the last election was honest? What do you think it was honest?
Oh, flip it right on to him. Holy shit, it's going down. It's going down, dude.
Times it went to courts. The courts
No,
decided
it didn't go. They went to court, and the courts all said, you don't have standing. Nobody had standing. And it's hard,
I'm surprised he's
frankly,
not
after an
insane.
election for a judge, but they all said you don't, nobody ever had standing. But the facts, if you take a look, I'd show you hundreds of pages of facts. People were angry. People went there. And I'll tell you what, they never show that. The primary scene in Washington was hundreds of thousands, the largest group of people I've ever spoken before, and I've spoken before. And it was love and peace. And some people went to the Capitol, and a lot of strange things happened there. A lot of strange things with people being waved into the
I don't know why these reporters try to fucking do that. And every single time, Trump is just a fucking G. He knows how to respond, dude. He's very witty. You have to be witty. You have to be able to respond right away. You know what I mean?
Capitol by police with people screaming, go in with that never got into trouble. You know, I don't want to mention names, but you know who they are. A lot of strange things happened, but you had a peaceful, very peaceful. I left the morning that I was supposed to leave. I went to Florida, and you had a very peaceful transfer. This was not and I'll tell you what, those people that did go down, which was a tiny fraction of the people that went to Washington. I mean, you're talking about a very, very small, because hundreds of thousands of people, and I don't know what you had, 500, 600, 700 people go down to the Capitol. But those people,
totally.
that was not one of those people had a gun. Nobody was killed except for Ashley Babbitt. She was killed.
Oh, so he's talking about violence here. He goes, well, fucking the only violence that we saw was when you guys put a bullet through a woman's head. You know what I mean? From the government standpoint, that was them doing the violence. So he's very fucking right. He's very right. Sorry.
Those people, that was not one of those people had a gun. Nobody was killed except for Ashley Babbitt. She was killed. She was killed. She was shot in the head by a policeman that had no.
See?
What he did was horrible.
President Trump.
So I think we should be allowed to disagree on that. And
Absolutely.
obviously, you see by the reaction in this room, there's a lot of other people.
Damn. Did you see Trump? He goes, and you can tell by the reaction of the people in this room.
Was horrible.
President Trump.
So I think we should be allowed to disagree on that. And obviously, you see by the reaction in this room.
Let's return to one other big subject you bring up repeatedly: immigration.
Yeah.
I know it's a very emotive issue for you, but just from the point of view of business people here, you look at the full effect of taking a lot of people out of the workforce, removing a lot of people.
I agree, Papa.
The Congressional Budget Office is banking on the fact that there'll be $9 trillion added to the GDP of America over the next 10 years by immigrants. You want to stop that process. For all the people who run businesses in the audience, I'm just focusing on the economic thing. Are you prepared to say, look, it's fine to have a slightly smaller economy in exchange for having the immigration controls
Okay,
you want?
simple answer. I want a lot of people to come into our country.
Good to see you, man.
But I want them to come in legally. I don't want to have.
Say it again. Say it again.
But I want them to come in. Sir, I want a lot of people to come into our country, but I want them to come in legally. I don't want to have.
Yes, motherfucking sir. Thank you for stating the very fucking obvious, Trump. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That means you will have to deport. You know, you are talking about deporting 11 million people. That is a lot of people.
Okay, you ready? It came out last week that 425,000 people are horrible criminals at the highest level. But it came out that 13,099 were let in during their administration. They tried to say longer, wrong.
Oh shit, GG.
Over the
I hope
last
you're doing
3.5
good, man.
years, 13,000 plus people came in, murderers. They're in jail for murder. Some were having the death penalty. They were all released into our country. 13,099 people were released into our country. We had drug dealers released. We had street gangs released. Look at what's happening in Aurora. But now I don't have to go with Aurora anymore. Look at what happened yesterday, last night in Times Square, where rough migrants from all over the place. You know, it's not just South America. We have people coming in from the Congo, large numbers
That's
from the
exactly
Congo and
what
Africa.
the media does, Papa. So
They came
sad.
in, as of last night, I was speaking to Tom Homan, 180 countries, people came in. They came from prisons and jails. They came from mental institutions and
Damn.
insane asylums, a step above. They came from the terrorists. We had large numbers of terrorists come in. When I was president, we had the strongest border in the history of our country. I built hundreds of miles of wall, and walls work, by the way.
They do.
Hundreds of miles. We had the best numbers we've ever had. Now we have the worst numbers. And here's the problem. We have some of the worst criminals in the world coming in. Now, Venezuela,
He's
their
right.
crime has gone down at levels that nobody's ever seen before because they've taken their
Remember, he did make the reference of, peaceful transfer of power was of the level of like Venezuela.
street gangs
Fucking
and their
asshole.
drug dealers, and they've emptied their prisons, not fully because they can't get enough buses. They've emptied their prisons. They load up the buses and they drive them into the United States, and they're dropping their prisoners into our country. Their crime is down. Their numbers are, are crazy.
Oh, yeah. If you guys are in here, you guys are definitely on some sort of fucking list. I know I'm on a list. I'm on multiple fucking lists. Fuck it. You know what I mean? I could give two fucking shits.
See how low it's dropped. I heard 72, 74%. They've taken their gangs. They've taken their criminals off the street. They've taken their people out of mental institutions, which
What's
cost
up,
them
Martin?
a fortune.
Good to see you, man.
And they've taken them and dropped them into the United States of America. Those people have to be returned. We can't live with thousands of murderers and not.
The issue I asked you about.
This guy's
was
so
the idea
frustrated.
that if you reduce immigration, every economist will tell you, if you have fewer people, there is a smaller economy.
I like immigration, but they've got to come in legally.
Okay,
Goddamn
well,
right.
let's finish on two.
No, I want to make sure. Look, I don't want to have people that have killed 9 people and they're a sadistic,
And we're
crazy
paying
nut
them to
job.
be here?
We have to have people that can love our country, that can that will obey the laws, everything else. You have hundreds of thousands of criminals being dropped in, and Venezuela is one country. Look at what they have done, though, in Aurora.
No kidding,
They've
Papa.
taken over apartment complexes. They've gone into the real estate business. See, they're like us.
Hey, make
Except
sure you guys are liking the video, man. Everybody that's in here, I want to see the likes go up. I very much appreciate you guys. It's absolutely free to do so. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. It helps a lot, man. I very much appreciate it.
Done it with MK, whatever the hell they're called, right? I mean, they have weapons that are so sophisticated our military doesn't have them. They've taken over parts of cities. In Colorado, you have a place called beautiful Aurora. Take a look at what's happened to Springfield, Ohio,
Jeez.
where they dropped 30,000 people into a community of 50,000 people, and it's total bedlam. The hospitals can't be used anymore by the residents. The schools can't be used by the children that were there last year because other people that don't even speak the language.
The issue I asked you about, many companies here have a shortage of labor.
Yeah, that's good. We'll take care of that. We're going to get people in here rapidly, and they're going to be people that want to be in here, and they're going to be people that can love our country and won't kill people because because they don't like the way they look. These are killers. By the way, some of these killers are among the most evil killers. They will look at you down, the beautiful woman there. They'll look at you and they will kill you. these are seriously sick people. And no, I don't want them in our country. And they are in our country right now. And they're in there because Kamala Harris, who's
This
our
guy is so fucking fed up and frustrated right now. He's so emotional.
borders are, is an incompetent person.
Trump, for the record, as you know, the crime rate is lower. Can I finish with two questions? The first, you just said it. You don't do old. You own and run businesses.
Yeah.
Would you appoint a CEO who was 78? You just give you a medical.
Some of this, yeah, I would. Depends on this. I've met people like Biden, who's in bad shape. I wouldn't appoint him. He's 81 or 82. He's 4 years older.
It does
But I'd appoint,
do that, Steve.
I know some of the smartest people I know.
And
I know a
then
man
other
that made
goods get very expensive
all of his
because
money
of it too.
from the time he was 80 to 90, and he was a failure all his life. He was in the drinks business, the different.
Strangely, you didn't bring this up but you were running against Joe Biden.
No, I never attacked him for his age. In fact, I used to defend him on his age. I attacked him for his lack of competence.
Oh, yeah.
I've
Not
asked
the age thing. If you can't even speak, we're gonna talk about you can't even fucking speak to the people, man. Yeah. There's a lack of competence there, and that's what everyone criticized.
asked you all these
Oh,
questions.
I never did. By the way, just because I think it's important, and I know you do too. I know so many people in their 80s that are among. Bernie Marcus is 95. He founder of Home Depot. You have the conversation with him. He's just as sharp as he mentally. He's just as sharp as he ever was. He's 95. I could tell you that in their 90s. I don't want to get into the 90s stuff, but you know what? I know many people in their 80s. I know guys in their 80s that won't leave the company.
That's
like family companies where they don't want the kids to take over because they're much more competent than their kids. I know them both, right? So no, I would have
That's
no
really
problem.
weird.
And you do have another factor. You know, we've had some of
You didn't
our
disclose
great
that.
On the Supreme Court, you just said
some of
you
our
don't do
great
old.
world leaders are in the 80s. And if you look throughout history, some of our greatest world leaders were in their 80s. No, that would bother me. But, you know, I took 2 cognitive tests and I aced them both. I think that, frankly, people, regardless, should take, if they're 50 or 40, or I think people should take cognitive tests.
I
not
agree.
because of the age, but because of something else. Now, here's the problem. They say it's unconstitutional, okay? But I would love to see cognitive tests.
Oh, my God.
I don't think she could pass a cognitive test. I mean, I've watched. I don't think she could pass a cognitive test.
President Trump, you've gone over many issues on this.
We've covered a lot of territory.
I asked you many questions about things. One thing I haven't asked at all about is the state of the race.
Yeah.
And I had a question for you. On election
That's a
night,
good question,
which
Hookup.
state?
That's a good question. I would have to do some research on that. He says, Mike, something for you to research. How many countries don't allow citizenship if your child was born there? This is an anger baby issue. Yeah, absolutely. People squat all the fucking time. They'll come to California, yeah, pretty much. But the United States and pop out a baby, and now they're citizens. You know, that's been something that has been a phenomenon that is widely debated.
Would you look at first? Which state do you think this race is going to be decided by?
So they say Pennsylvania, I would say most. I think we're doing very well there. I think you look at Michigan too, and I'm doing very well there. You know, we don't have to look necessarily. The votes are starting to come in now. So you look at polls, but you can also look at the votes that are being cast right now. People
What's
get
up,
a
Billy?
pretty
I
good
appreciate you for
indication.
being here, man.
And based, as we discussed,
I like that
backstage,
name, Billy
you know,
Brooks.
based on the votes that are coming in
Like
so
that.
far, we're doing very well. I mean, we're way up in Pennsylvania. We're way up in Michigan. We're doing very well in Arizona. I saw Arizona. In fact, somebody said they're going to pull the plug in Arizona. They're going to give it up because it looks like we're quite a ways ahead. I think we're doing well. Look.
That's right. Steve is a motherfucking masshole, dude. He is.
This is a party, the Republican Party, of common sense. Forget about conservative, liberal. We're, let's say conservative, but we're really a party of, we need
Make it
borders.
love.
We
Nitro,
need
be
fair
good, man. Be
elections.
safe.
We don't want men playing in women's sports. We don't want transgender operations without
yes.
parental
Thank you
consent.
for saying it.
Yeah, there's so many things, but 99.9% is common sense.
Yeah.
It really is common sense. And I like to say it. I don't know if anyone said it in the past, but I say we're really a party of common sense. And
True.
we want to have great people in our country. I want to have a lot of people come in so that you have your choice and so that they have choice. I want to, I have a good heart. I have a heart where I want people to be taken care of, but I don't want to take in people where millions of people, 21 million people at least, have come in the last 3.5 years, unvetted, unchecked. We don't know anything about them. How about this? Gavin Newsom, he's the governor of California.
Newsom.
Look, he's gonna get a little emotional on the nomenclature of Gavin Newsom. Let's see.
How about this? Gavin Newsom, he's the governor of California.
Piece of shit.
He signed Newsom, I call him.
Yeah. But do you think
You trying to fact check him on a name, bro? Fuck you. You know what I mean? This guy's,
Stupid.
Mm-hmm.
No, he corrected me. He corrected me. I said, that's the first time I've been corrected.
there are CEOs out here. If they said those sort of things about a rival CEO, they'd be sacked. Do you think it's
but they
fine
don't have
for
to
a president-
survive like me. They don't have to go through what I have to go through. There's never been a president that's been treated like me, so I have to fight my own way.
Well, you made a very good,
let me
very good
just
job
say,
of.
he signed a bill in California 2 days ago that you don't even have the right to ask a person for voter ID. And if you ask a person for voter ID, of course you have to show voter ID. The only reason you wouldn't do it because they want to cheat. The bill says you cannot, it's against the law for you to ask a person, may I please see your voter ID when he votes?
Stupid.
What is our country coming to?
Well, you've given us a tour d'horizon of where that country might be going to. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
President Trump.
much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
For the conversation.
You gotta love that this motherfucker tried to fact check him on just a name. Like, he got emotional about that. You saw him get fucking totally emotional. I think that was a humongous W. That was a humongous W. I think that was a great debate, even though it wasn't a debate. It was supposed to be just a conversation where he asked the questions, the anchor, and then let him fucking answer. I don't give a shit about your fucking narrative, Bloomberg. I could give two fucks. I want you to ask the question and let Trump speak. Why do you guys fucking all the media is fucking up? All the media is fucking up. Like, we watched this happen with ABC. We've watched this with NBC. We watched this with fucking now Bloomberg. I mean, it's just nonstop. You know what I mean? It's just fucking crazy. This was lit today, brother. Hey, Steve, appreciate you, dog. And thank you guys for the likes. Thank you guys for subscribing. Everyone that's new here, I very much appreciate you. Welcome, welcome. And also, don't forget that we're going to have a membership drive on Friday. It's going to be a great ass time. And then the very next day, we have our members only, where we get to say some crazy ass fucking words and shit. You know what I mean? The mainstream media is fake news. Absolutely. And here's their narrative. Okay. Lies and manipulation equals what? Money. Every time. Lies and manipulation equals money. It will always be that way. People love that shit. People love that shit. They gobble it up. They believe it. Yeah, it's fucking terrible. With that being said, though, man, I very much appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you all for the immense support, the help. Also, Beezer, I got to give you a big shout out, man. Thank you for the $25 spot on the Cash App down here. Helping my brother out, man. That is going straight to my daughter. You know what I mean? Those kind of things right there. I'm able to get, diapers and stuff like that. And so me being in Alabama still doesn't mean that I'm not a father. I still have a lot of responsibility, right? So I appreciate it, man. It's fucking crazy. And that's right. That's right, by the way, Lily, 100%. I think that interviewer went and cried in his safe space after that. Oh, yeah. I mean, he just got demolished. Carney says, great show. Like always, have a great day. I very much appreciate your guys' support, your patronage, everything, man. Thank you guys immensely. We'll see you guys tonight on the Diamond Effect. Now, guys, remember, it is a pre-recorded video. We recorded it on Sunday. This is me being fully transparent. Fuck people trying to lie and shit. The truth is we recorded it on Sunday. We're going to present some crazy ass facts tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time right here on this channel. And it's going to be a good ass conversation, man. I'm going to be in the chat the entire time talking with you guys. So don't think that I'm not like there. I'm going to be hanging out with all of you guys just like I normally would. So he's in the Bahamas, and that's why we did that. So with that being said, we'll see you guys tonight. It's going to be a good ass time. Appreciate it. And see you guys then. Be safe. Be good out there. Appreciate it. And also, real quick, make sure you're following my Instagram right here. That's where I do all my correspondence with all of you guys. So I very much appreciate it. Until then, till tonight, we'll see you guys. Be safe out there.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar,